Check.
Sound check?
We were muted.
Oh, for cereal?
Yeah. Because we had it turned off last time. I didn't even notice that the setting was turned off.
Are we unmuted?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Welcome!
Whoopsie.
Welcome, everybody, to the Zephyr Workshop stream, and I'll repeat everything that I said in the last 5 minutes.
Good luck
It's
with
only
that.
been like a minute and a half tops.
God. Yeah, no, as I try to fix...
Whoa, 7 already. Nice.
7 already? Who's the 7? Wait, what? Why are there 7 people?
All right. Anyway, continue with what you're doing rather than talking about why there are 7 people.
Yeah, dude. All right, so this is the Zephyr Workshop live stream, which we're going to be doing every week from here and from now until all eternity. It's going to be around 7:30 Eastern time every week. We're going to use it to... At first, we're going to use it to do AEGIS stuff, show you some cool stuff about the game, show you different game modes and matchups and team compositions, and things that we might change or not change over time, and we'll be testing stuff out. So this is going to be cool. We're just recently entered into the wild world of streaming. So this week we're going to do a basic game. We're doing this game because through all of our live streams through our Kickstarter, we showed all of the other commanders mostly, except for Stell. We showed the other 7 commanders. In our big long live stream, we showed all of the ones in Arcbuster, and then I think in the following week we showed a bunch of dudes in Skyguard, like Rios and Etwall, and which we also did in some of our YouTube streams on Stephen Gibson's channel. But we never really got to show Stell, and Stell is very special kumquat. Stell is a mediation officer. She is the kind of go-to for the faction, the Sector Authority, maybe to be renamed the Sovereign Authority because someone had that suggestion. But yeah, Sector Authority, it's the yellow faction. They are basically the world police. They act, in the context of the story, they act just like S-robots do in the game, and they just stay very, very far away from everything, and are left to their own devices. They're mostly fragile when you get up close to them, but yeah, the Sector Authority has a giant space elevator and a space station that they kind of live in that's tied to a tiny archipelago that's actually much smaller than all of the other 5 nations. So Stell is kind of their head officer for solving world conflict. Whenever they see one of the nations that infringing on one of the other ones that might cause a larger disaster, they send a mediation officer in, and Stell happens to be one of those. So Stell is basically a Power Ranger. She's a Power Ranger. She'll show up from space with her squad of robots, and she will try to deter the enemies and basically solve conflicts through not violence but justice. And yeah, we're going to talk about...
Can you define justice for me?
Justice!
Oh, that's great. That explains it all. Thanks.
Yeah, so... Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Stell solves things through justice. And she has a very strong sense of justice. In that, basically justice is anything you want to do if you put enough fervor into it and justify it. That's where the word justice comes from, the word justify. So no matter what you do, you can ultimately call it justice. As long as you're
disclaimer,
really,
Breeze is nowhere near an English major.
As long as you're really, really sure of it and you have legitimate, and as long as you have strong intentions, regardless of what the action is, it can be considered justice.
Okay. Anyway.
So anyway, yeah, Jesse can talk to you about Stell's team here. 5 guys, they're all long range.
Disclaimer, Breeze is not an expert on the English language, ethics, or philosophy.
Ethics.
Or being a person.
I'll have you know.
All right. So, we're going to start things off with Stell. Stell's pretty sweet. She has an X-cost laser. All of her dice need to be 3 or above. But for when you roll those dice, let's say you had spent 3 energy, you roll 3 dice. If all of those are 3 or above, her attack will do 3 damage. In addition to that, her commander ability is called Stellar Arc, so she can pay the energy production of one of her allied units in order to give her laser arcing until the end of the turn. So you can use one of your lower energy producing guys, spend their energy for the turn, and then fire an arcing laser to hit anywhere on the map, which is really powerful. So she's sort of one of the core components of this team. Then you have a couple of supporting bots that go along with her. So I've got the Arrows 100, which is similar to a robot that we've shown off before, but this one is just on Stell's team. It has a damage boosting buff, as well as a pretty accurate high damage close range attack that hits once, and it has overload. So it can do a lot of things when people get up close to it. It's not the most mobile A-type, but it is very good at what it does. And it also combines into some of the more powerful robots on this team, which I'll go over in a second. The next robot on the team is the Ida 100. This is an I-type with flight, which is actually a little bit different from most of the other I-types in the game. It has a stunning ranged attack that does very little damage, but is very accurate. And it has jamming 1, so it can reroll opposing dice for energy when it gets an opportunity to do so.
Basically, yeah, Idas are the type of I-type. They're pretty much entirely based around slowing and stopping movement. And you'll see that when you talk more about the combines. But yeah, they're just like little pesky mosquitoes that'll slow your opponent down so they can't get to your lasers.
So the next robot on the team is the Sen 100. The Sen 100 is a pretty standard offensive laser. It has a very powerful laser that does a lot of damage, and it has reroll. It doesn't produce the most energy, it has very little movement, but it has a little bit higher integrity than some of the other S-types that are around. Not that that's a lot, because 3 is very little, but it is a little bit tougher than some of them.
Compared to some other lasers as well, it's not the easiest one to land.
However, the most is the highest damage laser.
Yeah, it does 3 damage when it succeeds, which is pretty powerful.
Highest damage laser on a level 1.
Yeah, the highest damage laser on a level 1. I think
then
still the highest damage laser. Oh yeah,
is the same.
Yeah, it's the same damage. But it's more accurate.
Anyway, so then the last robot that I'm playing with today is called the Gon 300. It has combat drop, so I could drop it down anywhere I wanted. I'm not going to use that ability this game. It has beacon, so opposing actions that can target a unit have to target the Gon if they're able to do so. And it has shock absorb, which will stop AoE attacks that target the Gon from impacting any of my other robots. It's really tanky, it's really powerful. It doesn't produce a lot of energy, but that actually works well with Stell, because it lets me spend only 1 energy to gain that arcing ability. So then, that's my base guys. They're all pretty cool, but I really like this team because of its combined potential, so I'm going to go over those really quickly. So at level 2, we have the Arrows 3000, which is sort of just an upgraded version of the Arrows 100. It has longer range attack that's very similar to a laser. It has arcing. It has an accuracy boost that it can do when it combines, and it has overload again. Very strong, long range. That arcing ability makes it a really good archer type robot, but it doesn't actually gain very many stats compared to its level 1. It only gains 2 energy production and gains no movement or integrity. It's good, but it's not the best by any means. Then the other level 2 is the Ida 1000. The Ida 1000 is an upgraded version of the Ida 100. It has a melee stunning attack, as well as a multi-hit light attack that reduces the damage of opposing robots with a range of 4. Then, in addition to that, it has a combined ability called Capture. So when it combines, it can make it so that any target unit can't move during the next turn. So that's really powerful for stopping your opponent from getting close to you, and since Stell's team really wants to stay far away from the opponent, that makes this robot a perfect fit. Then the robot that I think is the coolest, my personal favorite combined robot, is the Arrows 6000.
It's on your business card.
It is on my business card. The Arrows 6000 is awesome. It has an arcing laser that it can fire out to do 3 damage, which is amazing. In addition to that, it has 2 other lasers, one that boosts accuracy and one that reduces defense. so it can use either of those in order to buff up any remaining unit, or nerf an opposing unit so that it can do even more damage. It has overload, so it can use 2 lasers at once, so it can either accuracy boost and defense debuff, or it can use its arcing laser and one of the other 2 actions. It has jamming 2, so it can reroll up to 2 opposing dice for 2 energy. And it also has an ability called Refuel, so once you combine into it, you gain its energy back. So it still costs 8 to combine, but you get that back almost immediately. So if you have 8 energy, it's basically free to make this robot. And so all of that makes it very flashy and very powerful, so it's one of my favorite robots. And it's one of the combines that I like to make very early on in the game. So that's basically my team. That's really the strategy that I'm going for, is I'm looking to make a level 3 and do a lot of damage. So, yeah, that's Stell. Do you want to go over Ainer again, or?
Yeah, so we don't really need to. I think we can briefly touch on Ainer.
Okay.
Einer's been in most of our streams. He's he's the red commander. He's in the Arcbuster box. Stell is in the Skyguard box. But yeah, Ainer is just he's aggressive. He'll run up and he'll shoot you or hit you with swords. And then so it's like you have if you go from left to right. It's just like here's Einer's robot. He lets me reroll the first. He lets me reroll dice on the first guy that I move with on my turn. And he has the highest movement of any A type. Then going over next, we have the Ender, who's a very basic blue machine gun robot who can move a lot and shoot a lot. And then we got the Go 400, which has a pushing mortar, so I can use that to push my aggressive guys even further, or use his melee face smashing attack on his second one as Shattering Headram to do some damage if guys get close to him. He also has Retaliate, letting him to do stuff in return. The Axis 100 is a pretty standard A-type. He moves slow, but if you get him to stand still, he's like a cool Desperado, and he can use both of his weapons with his Overload ability. So you can shoot somebody for 6 bullets, or shoot 3 at one guy and 3 at another guy. And then the Snow 400 is the tech of the team. It has a healing laser and an accuracy buffing laser, so I can heal my damaged dudes that I've thrown all the way out front, or I can use the accuracy buff to make their attacks very strong. And then let's see. Combine-wise, I have my AG type, which is an evolved version of my commander, the ARC 2500. It should be noted that we have through our Kickstarter, we unlocked new art for ARC 150 and ARC 2500, and those are actually almost done, and it'll be awesome to show those.
Yeah, the ARC 150 and the ARC 2500 were 2 of our oldest pieces of art in the whole game. So it's nice to finally be able to upgrade them and give them a nice new coat of paint.
Yeah, really. They're sorry, old me art. You're retired. So yeah, ARC 2500. It's